Next stop is the old world Intramuros, the walled city of Manila. Manila's famed Intramuros has to be the most historic area within Metro Manila. If the walls could talk, they would tell stories of intrigue, bravery, devastation, and resilience. It's one of the few places in the Philippines that can transport you to a time when horse-drawn carriages and Spanish architecture were the norm. Let's all take a trip down memory lane once more as we take to the streets and walls of Manila's walled city. Come and join me to walk through streets and in between the walls to get a sense of what it would have felt like to live during the Spanish period. A tour of Manila's past and present. Where you can find the present Manila Cathedral, the original kilometer point zero in Metro Manila, situated at the heart of the walled city of Intramuros, a casualty of war and catastrophes. The Manila Cathedral underwent several incarnations. Perhaps Manila is the only city in the world whose cathedral has been rebuilt as many as 8 times since it was constructed in 1581. Damaged by a typhoon, razed by fire, destroyed by an earthquake, and in 1945, the bombs of the Second World War II left only fragments of its facade intact. In the final days of World War II, the Manila Cathedral suffered the horrors of war, as its hallowed ground was disarrayed by the bloodbath perpetuated by the Japanese military. In the aftermath, only the crumbling facade remained with a circular hole where the wheel window and stained glass once defined its iconic elevation. The Manila Cathedral stood through the years of neglect, a reminder of the atrocities of war. Fortunately, the cathedral ruins were left standing, miraculously untouched by the bulldozers that leveled off most of the ruins of Intramuros during the clearing operation conducted by the American military. In July 1952, our construction program was planned and completed in 1954, and from these remaining fragments of the once majestic edifice, the stylistic affinity and orchestrate the aesthetic continuity of the new cathedral on the very same site. The Manila Cathedral rose again as it has done in its past, and the 8th cathedral reopened its portals in 1958, emerging stronger and better, a shining torch of faith and optimism for the entire Filipino nation, gripped by the trauma of war. After surmounting all odds, it is a resplendent monument to Filipino faith and resilience.
Nandito po tayo ngayon sa Intramuros. Part na pa lang po ng Intramuros gala natin today. Ito, the Manila Cathedral Church.
Plaza de Roma, also known as Plaza Roma, is one of 2 major public squares in Intramuros, Manila. It is bounded by Andres Soriano Avenue, formerly Calle Aduana to the north, Cabeldo Street to the east, Santo Tomas Street to the south, and General Antonio Luna Street, formerly Calle Real del Palacio to the west. The plaza is considered to be the center of Intramuros. It is dominated by the Manila Cathedral, the seat of the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Manila. Located at the east side of Plaza de Roma is the Ayuntamiento de Manila, a neoclassical building. It was also known as the Casas Consistoriales and nicknamed Marble Palace. And in the west side of Plaza de Roma is Palacio del Gobernador. It was the official residence and office of the Spanish Governor Generals during the Spanish colonial period. La Castellana, a true melting pot of celebrations. Its Spanish-inspired interiors have witnessed countless of weddings, occasions, and ceremonies. Many ancestral houses situated within the beautiful and historical Intramuros, which is a tribute to heritage and history, and its time-honored architecture has been preserved even as it has been developed through time. Touch of Filipino heritage, Bahay Chinoy shows the relation of Chinese and Filipino during the early times from their first visit up to World War II. From there, you'll see a gallery of rare prints and old photographs of scenes of old Binondo. It has the Ching Banli Ceramics Gallery, Jimmy Ong King Hall, and Chin Ben Si Memorial Library, which holds 8,000 books, documents, magazines, dissertations, and other articles in Chinese in the Philippines. Intramuros was divided into 4 barrios: San Antonio, San Gabriel, San Carlos, and San Luis, standing side by side within each dense and crowded barrio, where grand churches, palatial government buildings, and Antillean houses, or call it glorified bahay na bato. Alas, World War II reduced the magnificent of Intramuros into a wasteland of ash and rubble. The task of picking up the pieces fell to the Intramuros administration. In the 1980s, they constructed 5 replica houses representing domestic architecture built during the Spanish regime. The complex was aptly named Plaza San Luis, after one of the 4 barrios of Intramuros. It consists of Casa Blanca, Casa Ordaneta, Los Hidalgos, El Holgar Filipino, and Casa Manila. The replica houses were constructed based from archival building plans. Casa Manila, reconstructed Spanish home from the mid-1800s. This colonial lifestyle museum holds furniture and artwork ranging from the 17th to early 20th century. It showcased the lifestyle of upper-class Filipinos at the turn of the century. This house is divided into rooms such as the sala, despacho, comedor, cuartos, cocina, and banyo, with lavish pictures throughout, and decorated with stunning antique furniture, tableware, artworks, all donated by various sources. The complex also has a souvenir shop and a cafe, so you can relax after touring the museum. Church, the first church built in Luzon during the Spanish colonial period, is thus the oldest church in the Philippines, more than 400 years old. Its walls have stood as a mute witness to Philippine history. It is under the auspices of the Order of St. Augustine and has weathered wars and 7 major earthquakes. The present structure is actually the Third Augustinian Church erected on the site and was patterned after the temples built by the Augustinians in Mexico. The San Agustin Church was rebuilt 3 times due to man-made and natural disasters. It is designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1993, a historical landmark. Adjacent to San Agustin Church, the San Agustin Museum. It showcases the rich history of Catholicism in the Philippines. In 1973, the monastery was converted into a museum with a rich collection of Spanish-era church vestments, furniture, and religious artwork. Intramuros' charm lies in the exploration of its other churches, gardens, gates, walls, and enchanting streets. Now, you'll see Cuartel de Santa Lucia as just a ruined building. It was constructed for the Artilleria de Montaña in 1781. The building was ruined during World War II. The remaining walls were reconstructed by the Philippine Constabulary. The interior was never rebuilt and is being converted into a park. Father George J. Willman, S.J. Museum. Father George J. Willman was an American priest who lived in the Philippines and eventually became a Filipino citizen. Located on the ground floor of the National Commission for Culture and Arts building is the NCCA Gallery, an exhibition space for the contemporary art scene in the Philippines. It features 2 different galleries, the Glass Gallery and the Open Gallery. Light and Sound Museum. Walk around the museum and follow the light and sound. As the name suggests, the museum uses full visual and sound effects and exhibits of life-size wax dolls showing the major historical events in the Philippines. You haven't really seen Manila until you've seen Intramuros, the 4th city that for the longest time was Manila itself. Intramuros is Spanish for within the walls. This centuries-old district was founded as the seat of the Spanish government during their conquest of the Philippines in the 1500s. Stone walls were erected to keep pirates at bay. It were meant to protect the city from foreign invasions. Covering just 0.67 square kilometers, the city was designed on a tight grid of streets, surrounded by 2 moats, guarded by dozens of cannons, and fortified by bulwarks and ravelins. There are 7 fortified gateways around the walls, granting access in or out of the city. For 400 years, Intramuros served as the center of the Spanish occupation, originally built to be the residence for Spanish government officials and their families. It was where the most influential and wealthy citizens of colonial Manila lived. The natives and Chinese were not allowed to live inside Intramuros, only the Spanish elite and mestizos. After standing through a series of earthquakes and 350 tumultuous years, Intramuros was devastated at the close of World War II. Intramuros walls were fired on point blank, its buildings carpet-bombed, its gates rammed with tanks. Intramuros, the nation's once proud city in the heart of the capital, was leveled to the ground, but has survived the test of time. It holds bittersweet memories of the colonial past, a heritage worth preserving and sharing with the world. These days, Intramuros gates are once again open, and entering it through its graying stone arcs is like entering a new world, as I am greeted with starkly different architecture from what exists outside the walls. And the old walls still defend the district, keeping its churches and streets untouched by the winds of modernization. Intramuros had a very rich history, having been used as a seat of power by different nations at different times. This is why the blend of culture in the area is astonishingly diverse. But Intramuros is more than that. Many of its original structures have been carefully rebuilt. Overlooked for many years, some portions have been taken over by poorer communities. Its streets are slow-paced in contrast to the hassle outside. Security personnel are dressed like Spanish-era civil guards or Guardia Civil. You can visit museums that preserve and promote Filipino culture and history. Walk the cobblestone streets with lampposts from 1800s, or even roam atop of the ancient walls that have witnessed so much, reliving its memories by touching the stone walls and soaking up in the very place where Spanish domination, psychological repression, and thousands of human carnage was once laid bare in morbid detail. You can also play golf, as the old surrounding moats have been transformed into a golf course. Aside from its rich history, what else is lurking within the walls? Clue: not everybody can see it. If any place is haunted in Manila, it would be Intramuros. The place has seen some extremely horrific crimes, especially in the Battle of Manila, where thousands of innocent civilians, even women and children, were raped, mutilated, and killed. Within Intramuros alone, more than 10,000 Japanese soldiers were killed during American bombardment. The place may have withstood wars, natural disasters, and colonial invaders, but something remained: the spirits of the war victims, the soldiers who were told to never leave their post, and many other ghosts and elementals lurking in trees, in tunnels, over the wall, or maybe just beside you. This story of colonization is no different from that of other colonies. This, however, is just one story among many. It is a story that every Filipino must know and every visitor must understand. Anyone with a love of history will enjoy exploring this ancient city. Intramuros is chock full of stories, some on a very human scale, such as those of the citizen and domestic life in the colonial period, and some much larger, encompassing the fate in the entire country. The moment you enter the walled city of Intramuros, you'll feel like a time machine has brought you back to the Spanish colonial period in the Philippines. Going around this oldest district in Manila, you will surely fall in love with its old world charm.
Hi guys, andito na po tayo sa Intramuros. Yan, pak. Amazing guys. Oh my god. Say hi, Joy. Hi. Hi, Joy. So, ayan guys, andito tayo sa Intramuros. Sa Baluarte. Isa sa mga baluarte ng walled city. Look. Ayan guys. Go. Kasama kong isa, natatakot siyang umakyat. Yan, ito po yung buong golf course sa Intramuros. Paano ba na? Gusto mo tulungan kita? So guys, ayan. Sa labas po ng ng walled city, makikita na po natin ang New Manila. Yan, puro building. So guys, wait lang. Tutulungan ko po muna yung kasama ko. Hi! Wala na. Dito taas. Ayan. Gigi kasi. Intramuros, the walled city of Manila. Ayan guys, ang kahabaan ng walled city. Tinatawag nilang Temple Run daw. Ayan guys, so feeling ko po, hindi ko na po matatapos maikot yung Intramuros today kasi maulan na talaga siya guys.
Sobrang dulas.
Yeah. And tingnan lang po natin, let's see. So, ayan guys, dito na po matatapos ang vlog ko kasi maulan na po talaga. Tingnan niyo po. We're stuck. We're stuck here. Hindi na namin malilipot yung buong Intra. So, next time na lang. Bye-bye. So, ayan guys, nagtatapos ang ating Intramuros. Let's go,